Come on, I know what you want, bro. You want to become a genius with Serum. Maybe you listen to other artists and you just think, how did they make those sounds? Well, I'm about to reveal some secrets that I learned from a ton of other producers, as well as through my own experimenting. So there's actually a way to use Serum as a sampler, and all you have to do is enable this noise oscillator here. Just drag in one of your own samples. So for example, we could take this one. I'll drag it in and I'll disable this. We can enable pitch tracking, and now we can use this in whatever sound that we want. We can play with the phase, and this random knob just randomly chooses the phase. I'll set it to right about there. So let's try making a very basic sine pluck. And I'll pitch this. And why would we want to use this? Well, as you can see, it just adds a very unique texture to the preset that we're making. Let's try adding some effects. Add some reverb, some delay. So we've essentially just turned this very basic sine pluck into something more unique. So here's a project I'm working on. This is still a very early idea and it's not full yet, but I'll play it for you anyway. So as you can tell, it needs more work, but I wanted to show you this because I used that technique we just talked about. So for this track, I took this random atmosphere sample, made a pluck out of it, and then automated the cutoff. And the same goes for this one as well. So it might sound a little bit weird on its own, but when you add the rest of the layers, you can tell that technique adds some texture to the rest of the track. And those aren't the only things, there's literally infinite possibilities. For this pad, I just have a normal saw wave automated by a low pass filter, but I took a hi-hat sample and modulated the pitch, and this is what we have. Sounds like shooting stars. Just think about all of the variations that come with this as well. There's actually a way you can create this really interesting vibrato effect, which can give a unique sound to your leads and stuff like that. I have this very basic saw lead here. And we can take this LFO1 and drag it onto the fine. Obviously, it sounds really weird right now, but all we have to do is just minimize the effect by dragging this down. And we could turn off this BPM and turn the rate up. And as you can tell, you get that vibrato effect. And here's a way to get even more crazier with this. We can turn the rate to be really fast, around 40 Hertz. And I'll turn the effect up a little bit. And now you have this really cool trance style lead with this really gritty type of texture. Overall, it's just a good way to add a unique tone to your synths. Now we can actually add punchiness to any preset. Let's say you want your bass to punch through more, or maybe your lead or something like that. This can be used for anything. All we're gonna do is take this envelope here and then drag it onto the coarse pitch. And from here, we can just put this all the way down like this. And as you can see, this modulation is bipolar, so it's going two ways. To fix that and just make it go down one way, you just hold Shift and Alt and then left click. So now this pluck has more of a punchy sound, and we can drag this to any level that we want. So it just adds that little bit of clickiness or punchiness that makes it sound more unique. I even use it on almost all of my sub basses. So like this one, for example, or this one. It just adds that little bit of punch to your tracks, and just imagine how that can affect the overall energy of your tracks as well. So let's say that you made something in Serum that you really like. This is just a normal saw, but let's also say that you want to use that sound as a one shot. Well, here's how you do that, and this is going to be very useful. First of all, let's just play a note. I'm gonna choose C. Then all you have to do is go up to this very small icon in the top left click and drag it directly into your DAW. And now you can do whatever you want with it in your sampler. This can be really useful if you just want to work with audio, or maybe you just want that one-shot sound. Okay, so I have this really cool experimental pad sound. and this low pass is being automated by this LFO right here. But what if I told you there is a way to automatically modulate where these points are to create this more warped and almost natural sound? All we're going to do is right click on the points, and I'm going to modulate X here, and let's put this on LFO 5. And as you can see, if we go to LFO 5, we can mess with the shape here. Let's see how it looks. And obviously you can do some crazy experimenting with this. So let's turn this down a little bit and maybe make something like this. And for example, we could modulate the y-axis of this point here. We can modulate the x-axis of this point. So there's tons of experimenting to do. You can modulate these points to the macros, chaos, etc. The chaos knobs are one of the most overlooked features in my opinion. It's just an amazing way to add more randomness to your sound. So we could take this very basic saw here and we can apply chaos 1 to the coarse pitch. As you can tell, it sounds super bad right now, but let's just turn this all the way up. So it's almost like that pitch vibrato effect I showed you a couple minutes ago. And there's actually a way to create a really unique saw with this. I got this trick from AU5. So first of all, I'm gonna go back to the matrix and bring this amount down to 20%. I'm gonna turn on the second oscillator. And we're going to do the exact same thing with the second oscillator, except with Chaos 2 instead. Turn this to about 20%. Let's go back to global and let's turn this all the way up. And I'm going to enable sample and hold for both of these. And now what we can do is just pan these both to left and right to get a more wide sound. And if you want a less detuned, you can just go back to the matrix and turn these down. So tons of possibilities with the chaos. So I remember back in 2020 when COVID first hit us, I was ghost producing for a lot of clients and I was finally able to afford my own copy of Serum and not use the pirated version. And for like a year straight, I decided to go all out on learning this. And the fastest way to learn is just be weird. Do the opposite of what you'd expect. And this isn't only for learning. You can create some crazy sounds from it as well. So I'll just demonstrate it right now. I have nothing planned. This is completely on the fly. Kind of cool. Now we have this bell sound. Let's add some noise to this. So now we have this really unique bell sound with this kind of laser texture. Is this usable for something? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it doesn't matter because I learned a little bit more about the plugin and I gained experience points. So hopefully this video inspired you somehow. In these videos, I never try and just give you information. That's what all the other YouTubers do. I do my absolute best to inspire you somehow and even shift your paradigm on how you see music and sound design and stuff like that. If you want to, you can go check the links in the description. It's completely up to you. Make music now, and you'll thank yourself later. Peace.